For those of you who have watched my vlog, you'll understand a little bit of why we're watching some of this. And thank you for the well wishes. And dealing with that particular doctor, it made me want to, look at other things that we take for fact that may not actually be fact, and why we can recognize that that isn't a bad doctor per se, but a doctor in a belief system based on, and I put facts in quotation marks, because this is what they've been taught. And that is what we're going over. One of these, what we're about to see, is the Alzheimer's, and how this will slap most people in the face. Of course, what he's saying is true. Everyone takes that Alzheimer's goes in this form. This is what is the culprit. You don't argue with him, other than the other one that we aren't allowed to mention on the boob tube, that most people take as, something don't smell right. But Alzheimer's, I want you to watch this. And I want you, one, to see not only the language that he uses, the confidence that he has, and the excitement that he has on his research for this Alzheimer's.
That emphasizes fruits and vegetables and fishes and limits intake of meat. Being aware of and treating things like hypertension and diabetes. Avoiding things that can injure our brains like head trauma or toxic substances can all come together to promote healthy brain aging and plasticity. There is a lot of exciting research being done at the Brigham and Women's Hospital trying to advance this field. Our lab is actively investigating factors that promote healthy cognitive aging in older folks.
So as he even mentions his lab, you see him a little squished down where he's getting comfortable to talk about what his lab is doing. This is exciting for him. He's in his little white coat. We have to set the scene no matter what. He's in his white coat. He's authority. He's part of the crowd, and you take it from where his perspective is as an authoritative figure. Not that he's just some average guy looking at average guys' research and piggybacking off of them to expand the research. He wears that white coat. It has already put in his mind, I'm part of the elite class of thinkers when it comes to this realm. My knowledge encompasses everything that is known, that is accepted as medical science. So when you have someone who has been indoctrinated, and yes, it's indoctrinated, into that mentality, they've earned their MD, they're accepted as part of the medical doctors club, they've got special journals that only they can write into. All of these things set them apart and set them up for failure in the sense of a belief system. Because it is very easy when you get into this mentality to be in a belief system and unable to recognize that you're in it. What's he saying, Mandy? That's so crazy.
Our study, entitled SAGE, or Successful Aging and Enrichment, this is the first study to try to carry out a head-to-head comparison of the effect of different types of structured physical or mental stimulation over a 5-week training period. So basically, participants are being randomly assigned to either a physical exercise program, a computerized cognitive stimulation program, or mindfulness attentional training program, all of which take place in the homes of each of the participants.
Now, I will point this out to you, because if I had not done and fallen into some of the other researchers from non-orthodox researches, I wouldn't think any different from this guy either. Be like, well, obviously he must know something. He's approaching it from you're just not doing something. If you don't use it, you lose it. So you need to physically move, or you need to mentally think. And that's your cure-all. And I use that term loosely. There has been other research, pretty much by accident, that is finding that it's actually blood clots in the brain that is causing Alzheimer's and dementia. But that narrative, that quote-unquote fact, has not been brought into the fold as accepted yet, and therefore treating blood clots to stop Alzheimer's or dementia is not an acceptable treatment yet. Now here we have what most people can sit there and go, but what is he saying? Yes, we're talking about the vaccine.
So there are millions of them, and that takes time. And that's one of the big goals of a vaccine, is to really the whole point of a vaccine is to show your immune system what the virus looks like before you're infected, so that your immune system can go through that learning process and that growth process on its own, on your immune system's own time, and get you to a point where now, okay, you've got the antibodies and you've got the T cells, and you're going to have that immune memory, all before you ever get exposed to the virus. So normally when you get exposed to the virus gets the head start, okay? And then your immune system's playing catch up. Your immune system has these rare cells that can potentially protect you, but they're rare, and they have to grow from one cell into a million cells, and usually that takes a week, and you get sick for that week in the meantime.
So here you are listening to him speak, and he's giving you the quote-unquote facts of how things are supposed to work that he's been taught. In his bubble, this is how things work. And so it's easy for him to sit there and get, I've been given a vaccine for, let's say, freaking measles. And that's all you hear. I know from class, when I was a student as a medical doctor, and I'm speaking from his point of view, that this is what they said, how it's supposed to work. And this makes sense. Ergo, here's this new vaccine for measles. This is how it is supposed to work. And he doesn't have to dive in anymore to figure it out, because the belief system has stopped him from looking into it further. It's like believing that red light means stop and ignoring the fact that for some reason there's a new rule that red light means stop only for certain things, not that red light means stop anymore. And so when you get someone who's very comfortable in the environment, they've been taught these things, and then other people with white coats who've been published in that journal that they all want to be in, respected by their peers, say things that reality is saying isn't true. And reality could be doing things like death counts could be up for no reason, but that's not supposed to happen. But reality says it does. But because they're in that bubble and they do not want to be cut from the herd, and that's the most important thing for most humans, is they do not like being outside the herd. They will look for little nuggets in their brain that keeps them in the comfort level of being in the herd. And they can use language that says, well, this is how it's supposed to work.
So you talked about this cascade of immune system effects and response to either a vaccine or a natural infection. With a vaccine, what symptoms would you expect when the immune system is really ramping up and responding?
Yeah, it's another good question, and I get it. I get it a lot. I definitely tell people, these vaccines are safe. That doesn't mean they're not gonna make you not feel so great for a day or two, or have a little bit of a fever, and that can be a really positive thing.
So you sit there and you see how his reaction to that is these vaccines are, and he stops and he hesitates on the word safe, because there is that part of the mind. I want to be part of the herd. The herd says this is good. There is a certain amount of risk involved that says that's acceptable casualty numbers. But all in all, they're safe, because in class I learned that point blah, blah, blah is an acceptable number to lose. I also learned in class that getting sick is acceptable as well, because it means it's working. And the questioning the sickness, questioning how sick is actually good, questioning what kind of sickness should I be seeing, cannot get through that belief system. And when you've done things that, if you look back, and that's for the Alzheimer's doctors who could have had their patients lasting a lot longer with certain medications instead of just treating them like they needed to get some exercise, you're going to reach that cognitive barrier even in themselves where they don't want to admit they have done harm. Some people will be sick with themselves and will stop practicing. Some people will refuse to feel that mental sickness in themselves and still doggedly pursue the bad facts, because the idea of facing consequences that they may have perpetrated on human beings will mentally break them and possibly destroy them. And if anything, take away from this that all these people who are that captured, there's nothing you can do but walk away.
If you'd like to learn more about analysing body language, there is a video course available on Mandy's website for Gold subscribers, where Mandy teaches more about her techniques of deception detection. There's also other content such as the Crime series and Interesting Minds series, available to both Gold and Silver subscribers.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, Fero. Fero is one of the few cryptocurrency projects that I respect. Unlike most other cryptocurrencies, Fero is focused on safeguarding your financial privacy without compromising on trustlessness, which means no third parties are required, and transactions are private by default. Fero also has an exciting roadmap to look forward to. Features such as Instant Send, where payments can both be sent and confirmed within seconds. There's also Elysium, which adds tokenization functionality similar to Ethereum, but it also enables these assets to enjoy Fero's privacy technology. There's many more things on the roadmap, and if you'd like to learn more, head over to fero.org.